Hello, dear Libra. If you're watching this video right now, let me tell you it's not a coincidence. Something strong is coming. A rare energetic wave is moving straight toward your life, and your soul already knows it. That pull in your chest? That quiet feeling that today means something? You're right. This is Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and this isn't just a horoscope. It's a sacred check-in between your inner truth and the energy the universe is sending your way from June 24th to 26th. What's coming is not subtle, it's the kind of shift that doesn't ask for permission. It just arrives. It stirs. It changes everything. So take a deep breath with me now. Inhale. And exhale slowly. As you breathe, I want you to visualize yourself surrounded by a soft glow mint green and pastel rose light, the colors of inner harmony and emotional truth. That is Libra's essence. That is your essence. And right now, that frequency is rising. Not to overwhelm you, but to awaken you. Because Libra, the universe isn't pushing you, it's inviting you. To realign. To rebalance. To remember. But let me pause here and say something important from the heart. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment of presence. Every like, every comment you leave, every time you subscribe, you're not just supporting this channel. You're co-creating it. Your energy is what allows Zodiac Whisper Tarot to continue delivering these transformative messages. And truly, I'm so deeply grateful. And trust me, you'll want to stay with me through every moment of this reading. What the universe is about to reveal isn't vague or fluffy. It's direct. Clear. Almost. Loud. It's about your sense of justice. Your inner voice. Your quiet longing for peace that no one seems to notice but the stars do. They always have. You've likely been feeling it already. The subtle pull to recalibrate your relationships. The questions that rise in silence. Is this still in alignment with who I'm becoming? What part of me have I silenced to keep the peace? Those aren't random thoughts. They're cosmic questions. And they're leading you toward a doorway. One you don't have to force open, it opens with your readiness. In the next few minutes, we're going to walk through that energetic doorway together. We'll explore the tarot cards drawn for you, cards that hold potent symbolism for what's about to unfold. We'll dive into the emotional wave approaching you, how to navigate it, and what blessings are hidden in its current. But before we begin, let me ask you this. What brought you here, truly? Not just the title or the thumbnail. But what within you attracted this reading? If you feel it already, if your intuition is whispering, yes, this is for me, then leave a balance scale in the comments or type the number 11, the sacred number of divine alignment and higher truth. Because Libra, this moment, this message, this energy, it's not chasing you. It's meeting you exactly where you are. Now let's begin. There are moments in life when everything feels quiet, not because the world has silenced itself, but because your soul has. And yet, within that silence, something extraordinary can begin. The energy of the Star card appears at exactly such a time, not to dazzle you with dramatic fireworks or grand gestures, but to invite you back to the gentle glow of your own inner light. It doesn't ask you to perform or prove. It simply reminds you of something you may have forgotten, that you are allowed to hope again. When the star shows up in a reading for Libra, it speaks directly to the part of you that longs for peace not just in your external world, but deep within your heart and mind. This card doesn't arrive to fix you, it arrives because healing is already underway. Even if you can't feel it fully yet, the alignment of your energy is shifting, slowly but meaningfully, like sunlight returning after a long storm. And that shift is calling you home. Astrologically, Mercury's current movement through Aries, Libra's opposite sign, activates the axis of thought and self-expression. It challenges you to realign not only how you speak to others, but how you speak to yourself. Have you noticed certain thoughts repeating lately, old dreams resurfacing, forgotten desires tugging at your attention? That's no accident. This planetary position is nudging you to examine what you truly believe is still possible. And maybe even more importantly, what you've stopped believing in, simply because life asked you to grow up too quickly. This is not about going back to the past. It's about recovering the thread of authenticity you may have dropped while trying to keep everything in balance for everyone else. That's the thing about Libra energy: it gives, it harmonizes, it adjusts. But now, this cosmic moment is asking, what would it mean to harmonize with yourself? The star teaches that healing doesn't happen through effort alone. It happens when you're still enough to receive. In a world that rewards productivity and noise, allowing yourself to quietly hope again can feel like rebellion. But this is not a rebellion of chaos, it's one of grace. It is your reminder that light does not have to be loud to be powerful. You might feel a strange mix of exhaustion and longing right now. That's natural. Many Libras have spent months, even years, absorbing the energy of others, carrying emotional weight that was never truly theirs. And now, a reset is taking place. Not as punishment, but as preparation. The way forward is no longer through striving, it is through gentle recommitment to what genuinely lights you up inside. As you sit with this energy, I encourage you to take just a few moments today to write down 5 dreams you once carried close. Not because you're obligated to chase them, but because naming them again might awaken something quiet but vital within you. Choose one, not the biggest, not the most impressive, just the one that still makes your heart ache a little when you think of it. And give it a name again. Whisper it if you must. But let it live. Let that be your prayer today, not one spoken aloud to a distant sky, but one offered inward to the divine part of you that still remembers who you are becoming. You don't need a lightning bolt to move forward. You just need one moment of truth. And sometimes, that moment begins with a pen, a quiet corner, and a willingness to believe that maybe, just maybe, the best parts of you were never lost, only waiting for the right season to rise again. Sometimes the most profound moments in life don't arrive with noise, they arrive in silence. In the days surrounding this energetic window, you may begin to sense a quiet shifting underneath the surface of your relationships, your decisions, even your inner dialogue. It may feel subtle, like a balancing scale slowly tipping toward equilibrium. But that balance isn't coming from the outside, it's coming from a deeper recalibration within you. That's the essence of the Justice card, and for you, dear Libra, it's deeply personal. This isn't just another card in the spread. This is your archetype. Your mirror. And it's showing up now because a very specific alignment is unfolding. Energetically, justice arrives when the universe begins restoring what was once lopsided. You've carried grace and understanding for so long, often choosing peace over the desire to be heard. You've been quiet when others were loud, soft when others were sharp. And although your heart has always leaned toward fairness, it hasn't always been fair to you. Now, something is returning, not as revenge, but as recognition. A silent restoration is happening. The words that were left unsaid, the truths you had to swallow, the times you stayed and supported when others didn't notice, these were not forgotten. The universe has a rhythm, and justice is the echo that always finds its way back. In numerology, the number 11 speaks of heightened awareness, divine timing, and clear alignment. It's no coincidence that this number is vibrating strongly for you now. When your inner world is aligned with this frequency, decisions become less about pleasing others and more about protecting your peace. This doesn't mean conflict. It means clarity. You may begin to see situations and people through a sharper lens, not because you're becoming cold, but because your wisdom is maturing. This is the part where you start choosing yourself, without guilt. There's a message here that echoes gently from ancient truths. You are not required to break yourself to keep others whole. There's a quiet strength in letting go of what no longer serves, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Sometimes, the most spiritual thing you can do is set a boundary. And Libra, I know how hard that is for you. I know how much you care about harmony. But harmony without honesty is a beautiful illusion, and it keeps your soul from breathing freely. The law of attraction also plays a pivotal role in this moment. Energy doesn't lie. What you gave in grace is returning in form. What you withheld in pain is being released. What you asked for in silence is being answered in stillness. It might not come as a dramatic breakthrough. It may come as a soft realization, I don't need to carry this anymore. That's the quiet miracle of karmic balance. And you deserve every bit of it. Take a moment today to reflect on one situation where you kept the peace, even though it cost you part of your voice. Write it down, not to reopen a wound, but to witness yourself. Say, I see you. I honor your silence. And I now choose fairness, not just for others, but for me. This is the real work. And it's work that doesn't scream for attention, but invites inner liberation. You are being called to choose again. Not from fear, not from guilt, but from truth. And when you choose with truth, you don't just restore balance to your own life, you create a ripple of integrity that reaches further than you know. It often begins as a quiet tension, something subtle, like a knot forming in the chest or an ache behind the eyes. A moment of indecision that doesn't seem so urgent on the surface, but beneath it lies a deep emotional current. That's the energy the Two of Swords brings forward. Not just a question of yes or no, but a deeper asking, can you trust yourself enough to choose, even when both paths feel uncertain? And this, dear Libra, is where your wisdom is being called into form, not through logic alone, but through the quiet pull of your intuition. This kind of crossroads moment often arises when the outer noise has drowned out the inner knowing. The Two of Swords is not a card of external conflict, it's internal. It's that sacred pause before a decision, when your head tells one story and your heart whispers another. For someone like you, so deeply wired for fairness and harmony, it can feel impossible to choose without overthinking every consequence. But what if the answer wasn't in the reasoning but in the feeling? That's where the High Priestess enters, not with answers, but with presence. She does not push, She does not plead. She simply waits for you to turn inward. Her energy reminds you that not all truth is loud. Some truths come softly. Some rise only in silence. And the truth you are seeking now does not live in anyone else's opinion or approval. It lives within your body's own signals, your breath, your quietest thoughts before sleep. With the moon moving through a water sign during this transit, emotional clarity may surprise you. You might feel more sensitive, more inward, more reactive than usual, but these aren't distractions. These are indicators. Emotional signals are not weaknesses, they're messages. Your body, your heart, your nervous system, these are not separate from your wisdom. They are part of it. And often, when logic keeps you circling the same fear-based loop, it's intuition that offers a new way forward. If you've been carrying confusion about whether to stay in a situation, whether to speak your truth or keep the peace, whether to act or observe, know this: the choice isn't about right or wrong. It's about alignment. Alignment isn't about making perfect decisions, it's about making authentic ones. And often, the most aligned choice is the one that brings you peace, even before it brings you results. You can try something simple right now. Take a moment and place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply once and ask yourself gently, which path feels lighter? Don't analyze. Just feel. The answer might not be detailed. It may not come in complete clarity. But it will come with a feeling, a soft inner shift, a small wave of relief. Trust that. From a universal perspective, we are not meant to carry every burden, nor are we designed to get stuck at every fork in the road. We are meant to move, to flow, to evolve. And often, evolution begins with trusting that you're allowed to choose ease over effort, softness over struggle. You're allowed to walk away from what doesn't serve you, even if you once poured yourself into it. You're allowed to say no without guilt. And above all, you're allowed to believe that the right choice for your soul might not look perfect, but it will feel honest. There is a quiet truth in many sacred teachings, that peace is not found by avoiding decisions, but by trusting the process of becoming whole. You are not lost. You are listening. And that alone is already movement. So breathe, dear Libra, and know this: your next step doesn't need to make sense to anyone else. It only needs to feel like freedom to you. There's something sacred about the kind of love that doesn't demand to be seen or proven, it just is. It doesn't rush in with fireworks or declarations, it settles in slowly, like sunlight warming a quiet room. That's the message behind the 10 of Cups. It speaks of a love that brings peace, not performance. For Libra, who often holds the delicate balance between what others expect and what the soul truly needs, this kind of love is not only healing, it's necessary. Up until now, you may have thought that love needed to be exciting, full of intensity or longing. But this card gently asks, what if real love is what softens your nervous system? What if it's the calm you feel when you don't have to explain yourself? Sometimes, the most powerful connection isn't found in grand moments, but in the stillness between them. That kind of peace can only exist when you're no longer trying to earn your place in someone's life. This week's energy may be opening one of two paths for you. For some, it could be the arrival of someone new, a person whose frequency matches the self-kindness you've been building. This connection won't feel like a collision. It will feel like recognition. Like looking at someone and quietly knowing, you don't need to fix me, and I don't need to shrink for you to stay. It's a connection rooted in shared values, emotional maturity, and mutual presence. It may start gently, but it will feel real. For others, this could be the return of someone from your past, someone who finally sees your worth clearly. But here's the shift: you're no longer waiting to be chosen. If this person steps forward again, it will be you who decides from a place of fullness, not lack. That's a powerful place to stand. When you're not looking for completion in someone else, you can truly discern what adds peace and what reintroduces chaos. In the rhythm of the cosmos, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, holds a special influence over Libra. When Venus harmonizes with softer planetary transits, it invites love that is emotionally intelligent, quietly nourishing, and sustainable. The Ten of Cups embodies that vibration. It reminds us that emotional security is not created by constant effort, it's born when two people feel safe enough to simply be. Now here's where the law of attraction moves in: you attract what you already believe you deserve. If you're radiating inner peace, self-respect, and gentle confidence, you'll draw in people who respond to that same energetic language. That's why your healing journey matters. Not just for your own growth, but because it's quietly shaping the relationships you'll invite into your life. Love doesn't find you when you chase it. It finds you when you become the environment where it can thrive. There's a simple reflection I often return to that echoes through spiritual traditions and quiet moments alike: love that is real will never ask you to abandon yourself. It will never punish your truth, your stillness, or your softness. And it will never make you question your worth. So today, ask yourself this: does it feel peaceful, or does it feel performative? Do I feel seen, or do I feel tolerated? If the answer is unclear, pause. Breathe. Write down what love looks and feels like to you when you're not afraid of being alone. That's your map forward. And remember, love doesn't always arrive with noise. Sometimes, it enters on tiptoe and simply stays. You don't have to chase what's meant for your peace. You only have to recognize it. When progress begins to show, it's rarely loud. It doesn't always arrive in a celebration or a sudden breakthrough. Often, it reveals itself in the repetition, the quiet diligence, the way you return to your craft even when no one is watching. That's the wisdom of the Eight of Pentacles, and right now, Libra, this card speaks directly to the rhythm you've been cultivating behind the scenes. This is the stage of your journey where the universe starts to echo your consistency. The energy you've been building with patience and intention is finally forming into something tangible, something lasting. What's important to remember is that you haven't just been working hard, you've been working with heart. That makes all the difference. In the cosmic landscape, Venus, your ruling planet, is currently in a powerful dialogue with Saturn. Venus brings value, desire, and beauty. Saturn brings structure, discipline, and time. When these two align, it signals a window of financial opportunity that's not just promising, but sustainable. This is not the kind of gain that disappears as quickly as it arrives. This is earned, grounded, and deeply rooted in your integrity. The King of Swords complements this beautifully. This is the version of you who sees clearly, speaks honestly, and stands in full authority over their own ideas. In a career context, this suggests that your clarity, your discernment, and your intellectual maturity are finally being recognized. Perhaps by colleagues, clients, or even through an unexpected opportunity to lead. What matters most now is not how loudly you speak, but how decisively you hold your truth. People trust what's clear. And you, Libra, are becoming someone who inspires that trust not by dominance, but by thoughtful leadership. Numerologically, the number 8 mirrors this moment. It's the number of material mastery, yes, but also of inner balance. The figure 8 folds into itself. It reminds us that external abundance flows most easily when it begins from inner alignment. That's why this phase is about more than money. It's about understanding your worth, knowing your value, and no longer discounting the gifts that come so naturally to you. Sometimes we fall into the trap of thinking that if something is easy for us, it must not be valuable. But that's rarely true. The skills you've refined, the perspectives you've shaped, the things you do that others find complicated but you execute with grace, these are not accidents. They are invitations. Clues. And if you've been asking the universe to show you your next path, it may be pointing you right back to the very thing you've been doing quietly all along. Now may be a perfect time to reflect practically. Write down 3 things you're genuinely good at, not what you were told you should do, but what you know in your gut comes naturally to you. Then ask yourself, how could one of these be turned into a stream of income, even if it starts small? Sometimes the key isn't a new skill. It's giving yourself permission to share what you already have. And if there's someone you've wanted to collaborate with or pitch an idea taught, his is your green light. Send that message. Make the call. The cosmic current is supporting initiative paired with wisdom. You don't have to push recklessly. You only need to take the next courageous, well-considered step. Growth follows those who are not only willing to act but who act with vision and integrity. Remember, true prosperity isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It's about living with enough security to be generous, enough clarity to make wise choices, and enough purpose to keep showing up. As one teaching says gently, you are not rewarded for rushing. You are rewarded for being faithful with what you've been given. Keep showing up, Libra. Your light is no longer meant to be hidden, it's meant to support, illuminate, and lead. If you've made it all the way here with me, dear Libra, then I know something inside you has shifted. Maybe not in a way the world can immediately see, but in a way your soul feels deeply. You've walked with me through the soft light of the star, where hope returned in its gentlest form. You stood tall in the truth of justice, reclaiming your right to choose fairness not only for others, but finally for yourself. You opened the door to quiet love with the 10 of Cups, not the kind that demands, but the kind that holds. And you've remembered, through the 8 of Pentacles and the King of Swords, that your work, your wisdom, and your clarity are more than an authority needed. This wave of strong energy you're feeling is not a storm coming to break you. It is the culmination of everything you've been building silently, faithfully, even on days when no one applauded. It is not just an opportunity. It's a reflection. A mirror held up by the universe saying, look how far you've come and look how ready you are for what's next. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to explain your stillness or defend your quiet strength. You were never meant to shout to be heard. Because your presence, when it's rooted in truth, is powerful enough without volume. That's something many don't realize until much later in life. But you, Libra, are realizing it now. You are allowed to move forward not with force, but with grace. To lead not by control, but by clarity. And to receive not by asking louder, but by becoming someone who naturally attracts what aligns with peace. So let me ask you gently. If you truly believed that everything good was on its way to you, how would you show up differently today? Would you rest more? Speak more honestly? Create something without waiting for permission? Would you finally say yes to the version of yourself you've been quietly becoming? The one who no longer needs to chase, impress, or overextend just to feel worthy. You see, this is not the part where life begins again. This is the part where you begin living in alignment with everything you've already become. And alignment is not loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It simply is. Like still water reflecting the sky, like a leaf turning toward the sun, natural, certain, effortless. If you feel the truth of that settling in your body, I invite you to leave a water wave in the comments. Or write the words, "I'm ready," to anchor this shift in your own energy. Let this be your quiet declaration. No fanfare. Just a knowing, I've done the work. I've listened. I'm open now. And if this message touched you, if you felt even one sentence that made you breathe a little deeper, I want to thank you for being here. Not just for watching, but for choosing to listen to your inner guidance, even in a noisy world. Thank you for allowing Zodiac Whisper Tarot to be part of your journey. Every like, every comment, every subscription is not just support for the channel, it's a signal to the universe that you're ready to receive more of this energy, this clarity, this sacred remembering. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and stay connected. There's more light coming. More messages meant just for you. And more gentle waves on the horizon, each one bringing you closer to the life you were always meant to live. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You only need to be honest. And Libra, your honesty is already changing everything.